Hey everybody, the Johnny Cage here, welcoming you back to some more of Let's Play Mega Man 4. Last time we left off, we beat Toadman and Brightman, and let's start things off today with fighting Pharaoh Man. Look at him, he's all like, "One up, Gyro! Number one!" Pharaoh Man, pretty interesting boss, you got to admit. You wouldn't assume that they would create a boss based on some sort of pharaoh of ancient Egypt, but it's got a pretty cool level, and in fact he's got some of the better music in the Robot Master stages in the game, at least in my opinion. And I think that's one of the places where this game really suffers, because a lot of people give Mega Man 4 a hard time. It just feels uninspired, especially off the heels of Mega Man 3, which many people consider to be the best of the classic Mega Man series. So you gotta consider that a lot of the stages, music, Robot Masters, Dustman, he pretty much speaks for himself. Ooh, well, that looked nasty right there. Dustman, you know, come on. Seriously, you only had to come up with 22 Robot Masters before coming up with the set of 8 in this game, and you had to resort to Dustman already. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Beats me. But oh well, maybe it's a Japanese thing that I don't even understand. One thing I do understand is that there are 2 special items in this game, and one of them is right here in Pharaoh Man stage. If you use the rush coil to jump across that pit, which you are supposed to go down, you'll get the B item, and it conveniently starts you off at the checkpoint of the stage, which is pretty nice. So the B weapon or item is Balloon, and it acts just as item 1 did in Mega Man 2, actually. And in fact, a lot of people kind of compare Mega Man 2 and 4, because they don't have to do a lot with the whole like Proto Man story arc. In Mega Man 3 and 5, you deal a lot more with Proto Man, and 2 and 4 you don't. And Mega Man 6, well, that's just kind of the oddball of the series, and we'll get there when we get there. There's actually a bit of controversy surrounding that title. But these guys look so out of place, don't they? These weird platforms, they look like they belong in some sort of like, I don't know, clown game or something weird. And then another suspicious empty room. I don't know. I had Dilly DV ask me if there's any sort of foreshadowing to the fact that there are suspicious empty rooms, and the truth is no. There just are strangely placed suspicious rooms throughout this game, and I do not know why, but oh well. It's also worth mentioning, something I forgot to point out, is that if you get the B item, you miss out on an energy tank. I mean, that's not a big deal, obviously. You do get plenty of energy tanks in this game. I do consider this kind of the energy tank-filled Mega Man game. Just as Mega Man 5, I consider it to be the 1-up-filled Mega Man game, but we'll get there when we get there. So we're going to use Brightman's power against Pharaoh Man. And this is much like using the flash power, only it stops the screen and you can still shoot your regular shot at the same time. So bam, that's just what you want to do. That's pretty much the perfect spot you want to get him at as well, just before he fires his projectile. Otherwise you can sometimes pause the screen while he's up in the air, so you have to jump and shoot, and it's really annoying, but you know, if you just hit it once and you keep on going at it pretty aggressively, he really can't get out of this repetitiveness, and his life just slowly dwindles down. You should have more than enough Brightman power to take him out, and then do a little Mega Man Happy Dance afterwards. Oh yeah, the Mega Man Happy Dance. This is the first one where you could do that, where you could do a little bit of action afterwards. And anyhow, we got the Pharaoh Man power, which is a big, well, it's a charge shot, essentially. It shoots a little fireball out, and then if you hold down the fire button, a big fireball will appear on over Mega Man's head, and you let it go, and it fires a gigantic shot. So, moving right along, we're going to fight Ringman today. And I had a couple comments where people brought up Ringman, and Ringman is, yeah, he's actually kind of tough. Him and Drillman, I would say, are the 2 toughest of the 8 Robot Masters in this game, and the stage isn't very easy either. To start, we have these platforms which disappear as you step on them, and later on through the stage you'll find these platforms that move in the opposite direction, so they will start disappearing from the front rather than the back, which makes things even a little bit more difficult. But, you know, it starts off easy enough, except for this screen coming up right here. This one's kinda tough. I always end up having to take a shot here, it seems like. I didn't mean to take one there, but right there, just get up in that turret's face and just let it have it, and stupid me, but as you can see, they don't do a whole ton of damage. So, moving right along, we have mini-bosses in this level, and the mini-bosses for Ringman's level are these strange purple hippos that are on top of these platforms. And they fire missiles out of their mouths, and you've got to destroy the platform by destroying the column underneath it, get it low enough, and, you know, it's not really that big of a deal, actually, because it suffers from what a lot of really graphic-intensive Mega Man games suffer for, and just games on the NES in general, which is that too much stuff on the screen causes a lot of lag, which makes it really easy for you to really pinpoint what you're firing at and you know, maneuver around objects that you otherwise might have trouble with if the game was moving at its normal pace. Let's let this buzzsaw thing go by real fast. They always have one of those things in Mega Man games too, and that was nice. Kind of like those little like springy things from Mega Man 2. Now this guy, another kind of mini-boss, and I don't know, the recorder doesn't really like this guy. And you kind of have to feel for when to fire at him. Just charge up your shot as high as it will go, and then just kind of wait a few seconds and just fire. And you can't hit him if those springs are all around him. They have to bounce off. He's a pretty tough guy the first time you run into him, so just, you know, play around with it. I don't know how else to explain it, but just, like, feel for it when he's about to attack. I mean, that sounds stupid and not very helpful, but that's just kind of what I do when I'm fighting him. Or just come up with some sort of, like, a countdown in your head on when he's gonna not be so spring-shaped anymore. Oh yeah, that's how you beat a hippo right there. And we got a ladder up here, which will take us up to our good friend Flip Top, or Eddie. I think he's still called Flip Top in this game. I don't know when he became Eddie, but he always gives you something somewhat helpful. Here, power that we didn't need. It's always random, although sometimes I feel like I always get the same stuff at certain points from him, but that's probably just some crazy randomness. I would definitely like to get some 1-ups or E-tanks, which he does have the tendency to drop, but oh well, what can he do? So here's our introduction to those other platforms I was talking about. So you're going to want to probably slide as you first get onto them, and then just do a jump. And if you do that strategy, you should have no problem getting across here. Meanwhile, more little Saturn planets were attacking us. Oh, they're so adorable with their not being able to hurt us at all. No little spike trap, very Mega Man right there. And then you run into another one of these spring guys. Yeah, this stage is actually really tough. I mean, they really give it to you, and then you have to fight Ringman, who's... I know the pattern to how to beat him, but I can never seem to implement it whenever I'm fighting him. I always... I don't know, my mind just doesn't think correctly. He throws his ring, and then you're supposed to jump over the ring and then jump over him, or slide underneath him. But you'll see. We're about to fight him here. This is how the Pharaoh Man shot works, as I briefly explained earlier. So let's go in. Hopefully we don't have to use an E-tank. Maybe, maybe not, but if you have to, you have to. This is definitely a boss where using an E-tank is not a big deal. So that's what you want to do. And the problem with him is that if you're trying to charge up that second shot of Pharaoh Man's, and he runs into you, it breaks the charge, and it can really cause him trouble for you. So you want to stay as far away as you can from him, and let that charge shot gather up before you fire at him with it. And luckily we got through that without having to use an E-tank this time. So, good news everyone. 1 E-tank saved. And wow, that was some terrible frame rate right there. Mega Man just suddenly appears. No time for happy dance. We've got to go kill. And just as I promised in the last episode, this episode will be full of 3 Robot Masters. And just as a special treat, the third one that we're going to be taking on in this episode is our good friend, Justman. Yeah, I love how he shrugs right there. That's like his animation. He's like, why do I exist? Seriously, what were you thinking when you made me? So here we go, Dustman stage. Just like every other Mega Man game, there are always at least 2 Robot Masters you can fight in the beginning, because the Mega Buster, or you know, hand-arm cannon works just fine against them, and those 2 are Toadman and Junkman, but I decided since Junkman's level is a bit more... Not Junkman, what do I keep calling him that? Dustman. Junkman's from Mega Man 7. Ah, jeez, what am I thinking? They're both terrible Robot Masters anyway, but... I figured I'd just take on Dustman later on, once I got his weakness, which is, of course, the ring shot. Here's your obligatory big guy for the game, which is one of the easier ones. Just go crazy on the shots, and you should be able to take him down, no problem. Well, this is an area where the game especially loves to lag, because there's just quite a bit going on, and in fact, even though, you know, it's not just the recording, even when you play this game on the NES, it's kind of hard to see these platforms every now and again. But we'll make it through just fine, hopefully. Those ladybugs are actually pretty tricky enemies, though. Tricky, yeah, walk right into their shot right there. Let's see, get away! One thing I forgot to mention as we just passed over it were those pits, where those guys jump out of the pits. You might have seen them, they just shoot right up if you get too close to the pit. Wait for them to jump up, and as they're coming up, shoot at them, otherwise they will knock you down into the pit, and they will make your life suck. Oh, I can't believe I made it through there. Speaking of difficult parts, this is really difficult. Just one of the more difficult parts of any of the Robot Master stages in this game. Once you get to this part here, you're going to want to take out every single block that you can possibly shoot to give yourself enough room to work with, because this part coming up, this is not fun. Definitely took me a while to get good at this. So you want to slide as soon as you get a chance, just fire like crazy. And don't even try to slide through there on your first try. Just slide back, go at it again, and then try to get through there. No! Oh, that did not work. Well, there goes the no death run. That's really a shame, but oh well, it's not like I'm going to start over the recording or something like that. Well, yeah, what can you do? The only Mega Man I can probably beat for certain without using, without losing a life, I should say, is Mega Man 2. So, you know, just do what I can. These games are pretty tough, and at least I died at a really tough part rather than dying on the stupid part. That would have really bothered me. Alright, one more time. Hard hats, come on, get out of the way. You just need to get back to this part. Luckily, it started me pretty close. Get this junk, dust blocks, I guess. I don't know what they are. Now, can I get through here in one go? Nope, no dice. There is kind of a glitch. If you're sliding and those big, you know, whatever they are, things come down on you, you will keep on sliding out of there. It's just if you're standing still, they'll crush you. I don't know. Just, there's something to keep in mind, I suppose. Take care of a big red man over there with his little, whatever, Pez dispenser on his back. Climb up here. This is a hard hat that takes a few shots to kill. I kind of like how they made hard hats different. They, you know, they're not just the guys that you could kill in one shot anymore in these later games. They made them kind of give them a little bit of personality, if you will, which is pretty cool. So, take care of one more big guy, and we are on to Dustman. And, as I said before, we'll use the ring shot against him. Pretty easy guy. I don't know why I tend to overdo it with this guy. I overdo the thinking on this guy. He's only got two moves that he does. He either will fire a block of dust at you, which he's going to do right now, and I jumped a little early there. All you got to do is jump right up in the air, because the block splits up and goes in the diagonals. And the other thing he does is tries to suck you in, which you can easily just run away from him. And then when he gets shot, just give him, hit him with the rings a couple times, and, you know, just wait it out. Dustman is as easy as you would hope that he is. Nope, don't slide under the dust. No, I didn't even know if you could or not, so, well, there's an experiment. Pro tip, don't slide under the dust blocks. Damn, jeez, I'm doing terrible. There you go. That's how you're supposed to do it, and that's how you kill Dustman. Jeez, that was terrible, but thank goodness I didn't die against him. I'd never be able to live that one down. Alright, so there you go, folks. We've defeated 3 more Robot Masters as we get closer and closer to Dr. Cossack. Not to be confused with Dr. Wily, people. Completely different, I assure you. This guy's Russian. And we get the Dust Crusher. Yeah, that's very menacing sounding. Anyhow, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Next time, we're going to take on the last 3 Robot Masters and then finally get to Dr. Cossack's castle and see what that's all about. Well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. This has been the Johnny Cage. Please subscribe, like, and comment if you have not, and I will talk to all of you guys tomorrow.